What's up, guys? So everybody's talking about it. This is the aftermath. See, I'm not looking to go crazy on this channel because I would have put this out right when the news was going on to get it in the algorithm. But as you know, this channel is pretty much dead. But anyway, this is where I go to talk about my boxing because I like it. I've been doing it for years here. I've been doing it for all my life, but on YouTube for many years. So I'm going to weigh in on this. I really wanted to see this fight because I was explaining to the wifey on the flight over here. I was actually at that point I was on a plane when the fight was taking place. I said, I want to see this fight. I don't want any spoilers when I get to my destination. And I want to make sure nobody gives me a spoiler because in boxing, you never know the so-called puncher's chance. That being said, I'm not going to sit here in front like I knew. I didn't make any videos. Andy Ruiz Jr. beating Wilder. Wilder Ruiz. Sorry, Joshua. So, yeah, what do you think about the frames? That's a whole nother story. I did a video already I'm going to release somewhere, probably on my main channel or for the Patreons, explaining these are editing glasses. They're strictly for editing in the computer. How do I look? Anyway. So it's blurry because these are prescription just for straight up with the computer, and I had an issue with my eyes. It's a whole thing, very scary. So I'm okay. Everything's good now, for now. So anyway, I just was reading, GGG said that Joshua looked awful. He didn't accuse him of testing positive for any peds or anything like that, but he said, according to the translator, before a press conference for his own fight Saturday night at the Garden. First of all, it was his first fight in the United States, and basically he was saying the fight had different doping tests. Read between the lines, guys. I mean, let's be honest. Any normal person, especially into sports or that does not non-professional sports and works out, I worked out all my life. You look at Joshua and you're thinking, wow, he's on roids. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not saying he is or on something. The man has a magnificent physique. We all know that. We get it. But it looks like it's kind of enhanced with something. So, aside from all that, I want to give my assessment of what went on in there. You hear all these conspiracy theories. I think Joshua himself recently in a video just basically admitted, hey, I lost. You got to give him props and respect for that. I totally give the man credit for that. I mean, come on. So a lot of these guys, they'll lose a big upset like this, and they'll run. They'll disappear. You won't hear a word from them, right? How many times has this happened? And then they'll just somehow start to talk again for the rematch or in their next fight. But they'll kind of avoid the whole, why did I get beaten, all that. This Joshua's right on it. So a lot of people don't like his promoter. We know that. What's his name? Eddie Hearn. Anyway, let me just tell you what I really think. I'm using natural sunlight here. I don't have my light kit with me, but I just want to say what I think. I think the man got hit in the temple with a really fast shot. He was going for the KO, and Ruiz got in between and landed that bomb. What was it, a right hook? Right on the temple. Looping shot. And I also want to say, I heard some boxing experts, one of them I respect very much, saying that he thought this would replace Tyson Douglas as an upset. Are you? I totally disagree. Tyson, you got to understand, I know it's a long time ago, but Mike Tyson was like Godzilla. He was, in Japan too, right? Love Godzilla. He was this undefeated champion. He had one belt. He had them all. He had the undisputed titles. He wasn't anything like Joshua. First of all, I did say this before the fight. The odds were silly. 25-1. I thought it was honestly, I was just assuming it was 5-7 that Ruiz would be the underdog. What an insult. And how silly. These odds makers are clueless with boxing. I don't believe that it was a 25-1 underdog. I mean, the guy's a tough guy. It's a heavyweight division. You have one of these champions who's not really the lineal heavyweight champion. Like I said, you cannot compare this to Tyson versus Douglas. Tyson was a wrecking machine. He was beating everybody, mowing them down when he won the belt against Trevor Berbick, and he went on a mission, and there was only Mike Tyson. He was like the god of boxing. That was it. Anthony Joshua in 2019, some people didn't even know who the heck he was. I'm sorry, especially in the U.S. It's true. Mike Tyson transcended boxing already when Buster Douglas beat him. So anybody saying that this is replacing that Tyson versus Douglas upset is crazy. It just makes no sense to me. I don't care which way you spin it. So I totally disagree with that. Let's get that out of the way. No freaking way is this an upset of the magnitude where Mike Tyson lost to Buster Douglas. That is just no way. When you got Deontay Wilder running around, when you got Tyson Fury running around, there was no Tyson Fury. There was no Deontay Wilder type level fighters when Mike Tyson was at the top of his game. And most boxing experts, even if you're born in 1990, should know about this. You should do your history and look that up, because Tyson is still walking around and he's still relatively young. He's not like a 75-year-old man. It was long ago, but really wasn't that long ago as far as boxing history goes. And to just say, hey, this is bigger than Tyson versus Douglas. Yeah, bull crap. No way is that even close. Sorry. The odds makers got it wrong. The 25-1 underdog. I just disagree with it. It shouldn't have been such an extreme odds difference between the odds with these guys in this fight. And it backfired. It backfired because he lost. So all this the conspiracy theories are saying this and that. Sorry, there's no evidence of him doing any illegal drugs or stuff like this. But I could tell you from watching boxing all my life, he was definitely out of his element, number one, because he wasn't in the UK. And I knew that. That's why I wanted to see this so much. And I love upsets. I was hoping for an upset. He was out of his element, and then he thought he had Ruiz when he dropped him, and he just kept swinging, and he's much slower. And in between those punches that Joshua was throwing, Ruiz landed a magnificent shot. It wasn't a lucky punch because he kept knocking him down. I hate that lucky punch. These guys earn it. They get in the ring on that night. They earned that chance to land that punch. I don't see a lucky punch. I never do. So he landed that punch, and it started the downfall of Anthony Joshua, the exposure and everything else. Not only that, if you watch the fight, his mouth was wide open. And you give props to all boxers, but we're tough on them because they're professional athletes. You got to give analysis. I also seen a Joshua that has a lot of quit in him. I thought the body language was there, like many people did. I thought he quit when I was watching the video for the first time. Whether he said or not, I'll continue, whatever. The body language and you could see him look down. Now, I took acting classes. I like to do that too as well. And I like to study people in general. And I'm looking at him, and I looked at Joshua looking down as the fight was happening at the end there. I said, this guy's not going to continue. He wants to quit. You can see him look down and go, oh my God, put his arms on the ropes and literally think to himself, like, I don't want to fight anymore. This is it. You could see him having an internal argument with himself during the process of those precious few seconds. He was literally, and they say boxing is psychological. It totally is. It's physical, but mostly psychological after you build all that armor up and you get in shape. And you could see him arguing with himself, doubting himself. And I think from now on, and I could be wrong, of course, but I think from now on, any boxer, my hair looks so dark in this light, but any boxer that fights Joshua from now on, they could have put doubts in his head. They could plant the seed of doubt at any time and win a fight against him, because that materialized itself during this fight. It's a very interesting psychological study, not only physical but psychological. If you watch that fight, and I watched it several times, the knockdowns, and I could see that internal struggle with Joshua having a conversation with himself, and you can look in his eyes and see it at the end, and then just the way he reacted to the referee. He was happy to get out of that fight after it was done. It was over. And in the rematch, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say that Ruiz wins again. I'm going to say that. I'm going to say he wins a rematch. And if he doesn't, Joshua needs to get psychologically back into the game, into the boxing game. And it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of psychological work. He already has everything, the body, everything. But Ruiz is going to nail him again. And he's going to survive when he gets hit, when he gets nailed. And he's going to come back at Joshua and a 3-1 underdog. Did I read that? 3-1 underdog. Whatever the odds makers make Ruiz again, they might be losing again. The bookmakers got it wrong the first time, big time. 25-1. That's insane. I would have told you that before the fight. I just didn't make a video on that. I totally was saying it. I was reading. I was like, oh my God, what is it? Are you kidding me? And I was like, I thought to myself, oh, I should bet a lot of money on this fight just in case. But this is the great thing about boxing, the theater of the unexpected. Growing up watching HBO boxing, I learned that. Watching Larry Merchant, the great Larry Merchant, those were the days. They'll never be back. Those were the golden, in the USA. I know the UK and around the world is different, but as far as American boxing broadcasts went, the best that I ever saw in my life was witnessing live, watching, having the privilege to watch HBO analysts, Jim Lampley, amazing. I wish someone would hire him. I wish he would make a deal with the Zone or somebody. I would get the app just to hear Lampley call fights. No joke. And Larry Merchant. That was the best team, and Harold Letterman. I can't believe he passed away. I spoke to Harold Letterman when I was very, very young. Basically a kid, and oh, wow. Had his phone number, interviewed him, actually called him. He told me he was a pharmacist. I remember I called him on the phone. Hey, Harold, what's up? Can I interview you? I was a freshman in college. Had my own boxing show. Crazy. Real. I got the tapes to prove it. I got them somewhere if they're not rotten. I got to pull them out, right? I should do that. I can't believe he's gone. What a good person. Really. It's a sad loss. Wow. I can't believe he's gone. I was really surprised. But anyway, going back to what I'm talking about. It's very interesting how this is going to play out. Very interesting to see the dynamics in the ring, the psychological war going on, and how this whole fight went down. This amazing upset. I love upsets. I love upsets. I just really do. They excite me because boxing, I get frustrated. It's like a scam. They put the guy that's supposed to lose in there. Like wrestling, you get the cheap guy in there, and the guy is supposed to lose, and then comes along a Ruiz type, and he upsets everybody. The cliche, upsets the apple cart or whatever. And I love those fights. I really do. I love to see a guy go in there and get slept on and win, and it's unexpected, and everyone is just like, in the boxing business, they don't want that to happen. That's backing the guy, the golden man, like the golden boy, Oscar De La Hoya, but it was AnthonyJoshua. He was supposed to win this fight. This wasn't supposed to happen. But now the reality check comes in. Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, that's it. That's all we want to see right now. Give it to the boxing fans. That's what we want to see. I don't want to see these tune-up fights. I don't want to sit there and hope for another upset that I get, because the odds are you're not going to see an upset. If you got Tyson Fury fighting some guy that's you never heard of. So I want to see the big names fight. That's what we're paying for. Usually when we see a fight that we're paying for, if you're paying for whatever streaming service, pay-per-view, whatever, that's what us real true boxing fans want to see. I don't want to see tune-ups, but like I said, they're going to walk around and milk this guy like with Joshua. I said on this channel, I know I did. I said they're going to milk this forever. It's going to take forever to fight Joshua. Now, Wilder or Joshua. Now what? Nobody cares. I don't want to see Wilder knock Joshua out, because most likely that's what's going to happen. So there's a lot of things going on there right now, and what really in the heavyweight division needs to be seen, needs to be watched, needs to be signed for the good of boxing in 2019, even though we're going to have to wait, is Tyson Fury versus Wilder. By the way, I'm a fan of both men, so that's really hard for me. I usually don't emotionally go with a fighter. I like to see upsets, but that fight is going to be amazing, because in the first fight I had Tyson Fury, and while I'm here, let me say, I think I said it already, but I'll say I was wrong. I thought Tyson Fury was going to come back after this big layoff, and it was a joke. I was totally wrong on that one. I actually predicted Wilder would beat Fury, and I'm right in a lot of predictions and big fights when I know the fighters and I know what they're capable of, but I was wrong. I was wrong because I believe, I'm a big fan of Wilder, but I believe if he would have knocked him out, it would have been a wrap, no questions. But he didn't knock him out. He got back up. 2 knockdowns, and I thought Fury outboxed him. Straight up and down. I thought Tyson Fury won the fight, and I also think Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight out there right now. And Wilder's right behind him. And at any second, in that ring, he can knock Fury out if he hurts him, and he can finish him. It's going to be very difficult. And then he will be the best. And then we will know who the true champion is. But these guys are so close because it could either go with him knocking out Fury or Fury actually surviving those knockdowns or knockdown again, and he would have to dominate all the rounds again to win on the cards, which he should have got. He won on my card. Fury really, really displayed amazing skills for a large heavyweight. Tall. He's so tall. Hands behind the back, making Wilder miss and miss. And Wilder's no spring chicken anymore. I know in the heavyweight division you go a little longer, but he's going to start getting tired and later in fights as he ages. So 2 years from now, it's going to be another story. So he's going to be throwing all those bombs again, and he's going to be missing. He's going to be exhausted. For real. He's going to be exhausted. He's a human being, and he's going to be pushing, at that time in a few years, maybe 34, 35. He better get in there fast with Tyson Fury for those exact reasons, while he still can go 12 rounds and not get gassed. So let me just talk about the upset again. I know I'm all over the place, but I tie it all in. I think this is a stream of consciousness video, no notes, nothing, except for I was reading a little bit of the Triple G comments. So I just think that Joshua got gassed. On top of the overwhelming moment that he was taken out of the UK, fighting in the US, the fact that he took his legs away with the equilibrium shot, right away I saw it. Anytime you get hit on a temple like that, everybody knows, who watches sports, who watches boxing, who watches any mixed martial arts will know that causes major problems, and it's very hard to recover if you recover at all. So that did it all. And I believe the trading early with Ruiz, he was gassed. It wasn't he gassed with Brazil, Joshua, late. This was earlier. His mouth was wide open right after that. Just look at his mouth. He was tired. There's no conspiracy theories here. Ruiz displayed mad skills. He has speed. He has a chin. He had everything. You can't judge the body. Look at George Foreman. You can't. He did what he was supposed to do. He won that fight. And I think there's a good chance he'll win the rematch. You heard it here. I also want to make a prediction while I'm here. Wait, is there anything else I want to talk about on this fight? For the 5 people that actually probably still with me on this. Google's not going to promote this. This channel is not monetized, so they really don't push the video. It's just the way it is, the algorithm these days. But I just want to say, going back to, I want to talk about an upcoming fight. Pacquiao versus Thurman. I'm going to make an upset prediction here. I just looked. Pacquiao's the underdog. You crazy. That's going to be tough. Let me tell you why. Josecito Lopez, I predicted, I believe, the fight here. And I said there's not going to be no easy ride for Thurman because I never thought Thurman was an elite fighter. Came off a long layoff. Keith Thurman is really a B-plus fighter. I think Errol Spence is way better. He's the guy. I think Sean Porter and Keith Thurman I explained the whole thing in a previous video somewhere, how they're neck and neck, B-plus fighters. They're really good. They're really good guys. You know, this is just analysis on boxing. I believe that Pacquiao's going to upset him. It's going to be, he looked awful. Thurman looked so awful against Lopez. He almost got knocked out. He took a long layoff. He didn't impress me. And he's going to have mucho problemos. Working on it. Spanish is getting better, I think. Mucho problems with Manny Pacquiao. He really is going to have problems with Pac. And I am a Pac fan, and I did predict Floyd would outbox him in an easy fight, in a boring fight. It's all here on his channel. So if you want my boxing credentials, if you're here out of curiosity for the first time, don't get it twisted. I know boxing, and that's all I watch. It's my only sport. Occasionally I watch MMA. I do. But boxing, that's it. That's all it's ever been. My love. I go to Europe. I'm in Europe right now. I watch, when in Rome, so to speak, I watch some soccer because everybody around me is watching it. Why is my Mac bugging? Okay. Hope this is still recording. Okay, so I hope I'm still with you guys. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you what I think. I think Pacquiao is 40. If he was younger, I would predict an easy, no problem. I would say he's definitely gonna win the fight. I'm just predicting, I'm not gonna be shocked if Thurman wins, but if Pacquiao shows up at 40 years old, he's gonna beat a decade younger Thurman. He's gonna beat him because he's elusive. He has an unorthodox style, and Josezito Lopez almost beat Thurman, and Thurman's supposed to be some elite top of the guy, elite A fighter. That's not the way it works in boxing. Elite fighters don't almost get beat like that and don't look impressive each time out, like so amazing. I just don't see Thurman as that guy, like the Errol Spence Jr. Like I knew he was going to beat a great, amazing pound for pound. Is different because of the weight. Mikey Garcia, that's an elite guy for several reasons I can't get into right here. Just look at who he's fought, look at it in his weight class and what he does. But I knew Spence was something super special. Not to say Mikey isn't. He just went up too high. It's just too big for him. That's where sometimes the weight does come into play. Depends who you are, how you fight. Because Pacquiao went up in weight, we all know that, and he performed well. It's a different story there. Different weight classes, different stories. But I think that Thurman's going to get upset, and people are going to be surprised because of this. But all you got to do is look at the previous fight. He was almost out, and if Pacquiao does that to him, Pacquiao, I don't know at 40 is he going to finish him, but if he has a couple moments like that, and the rounds aren't that close, or maybe just a little close, the judges might decide, sorry, I misspoke. If the rounds are seemingly close to most people, and Pacquiao shakes him like that, leaves Thurman shook, and doesn't get hurt himself and wobbling around the ring, I think the judges are going to go with the legacy of Pac, the name, the mystique, what he's done, and all of that stuff, and they're gonna lean towards Pacquiao. They're not gonna be so forgiving in a fight with Pacquiao as they do with younger fighters who are undefeated and have a title. By the way, in my opinion, he shouldn't even have that title because he was out so long. So look for Pacquiao. I'm looking for it to pull a possible upset on Thurman. Yeah, believe it, because it's very likely that could happen. Especially if the old Pac don't show up. The Pac that went to Australia, I thought he got robbed, but he needs to be a little bit more on point for Thurman. I think he's got Roach now back in his corner, so that's good. We're going to see what happens with that. But yeah, I just want to close out on this. Going back to who am I talking about? Joshua, the Joshua upset. 25-1. That's insane. Even 24. Let's pretend it's 20. Maybe I got it wrong. Maybe I read wrong. Let's say 24-1. Anything over 18 is ridiculous. Because it's not like Ruiz was a bum. It's not like it's the guy was winning fights. He lost once and it was like a split decision, right? I don't have the record in front of me. This guy's no joke. Don't get it twisted. Don't look at this man's body and say, "Hey, he's not good." He's good. He's good. He's short. So what? Look at Rocky Marciano. Look at Mike Tyson. This guy is no joke. He punched him so hard. You're getting hit by a man over 200 pounds, and you're 200 pounds too, and you take it on a temple like that. He can end any man's night, including Wilder. Like, for real. You got to take this dude seriously. But I think that Joshua, let him prove me wrong, has a major problem. Even if he does beat Ruiz, I have to go back to this before. Well, let's end the video on this. I think that Joshua has a major problem up here. I think that, I hate to say the word quitter, because I'm not in there taking those punches. Crazy. But I think that he can be beat, again, once a quitter, always a quitter. A lot of people say that. I think he could be beaten into a quit situation by someone else if he gets by Ruiz, like Wilder. Like, oh my God, I'm down. All those memories are going to come back, and Wilder is going to make it easy He's going to just keep coming. And he was going down left and right. He was definitely tired. He was fatigued beyond, which is maybe people are thinking, okay, maybe somehow the Peds backfired if he was on anything. I just think it was honestly, I think it was the punch, and I think it was the moment. Who knows what he's feeling? But we know he was out of his element, but the punch says it all. He got nailed in that temple area, and it just caught. He never regained. He never came back, and Ruiz was going after him slowly. He did it. He did it wise. He didn't run into anything. He took his time. But then I think he realized, oh my God, this guy's really tired and he's really slow. He's plodding. He's out of it. And he stepped it up and got him out of there. He kept falling down easy. He didn't even look like it. Just came like he was just dropping right, left. He's just dropping. Couple knockdowns, mouth wide open, gassed, no doubt about it, and thinking, I'm done. Looked at his corner, talking about Joshua, and it was a wrap. It was a wrap. So guys. You guys, whoever's watching this video, props to you. You must be old school on this channel. Can you believe it? We're here, like how long? I started this channel back in the day at a boxing website. What was I thinking? The boxing website used to get traffic too. Crazy, right? I don't have time for this nonsense. It's not nonsense. I love it. I could build a Wix website in a hot second. Write quick boxing articles, but I'm not into it like that. Because once you turn it into work, for me, personally speaking, with something like boxing, I get so angry. You turn it into work. It's work. It becomes a business if you do something like that. You build up a site. You start doing all this and that. I'm only one man, but it's great. It's fun. Then I got to go out to the garden, get press credentials and all that. Start there's other sites that do that, and they're doing it. They're making their money. God bless them. I don't want to be a reporter. I don't want to be a boxing reporter. I do other things, editing, directing, acting. I'm more of that type of guy, and I like to talk boxing. I like to keep it like this, just talk boxing. And I love to go make a film, like a short film after. You know what I mean? I don't want to do boxing professionally, if that makes any sense. Sit here and ruin it all. Just talk, get on, throw up a mic, and just start talking about it, and not worrying about views and stuff like this. Who cares? This is fun. That's the way I like it. But I do get mad. Look, if you look at my upload history, you think I'm talking and I'm pretending, I'm putting on some persona like, oh, I hate boxing. I have a love-hate relationship. I literally took down the site. I got so pissed off about the corruption in boxing. And once again, Teddy Atlas. If there was a school for boxing experts, if there was a school for boxing fans, if there was an Academy Award for a boxing expert and a boxing teacher, and a degree and a doctorate, it would all go to Teddy Atlas. I'm a student of Teddy Atlas. Can I say that? Because Teddy Atlas, he basically, I don't know, watching him, he tells it like it is. He's the real deal. He has no care. He makes money in boxing, and he will go on TV. He's done it, national TV, growing up watching Teddy Atlas. He'll go on national TV and literally say it's corrupt, and start literally breaking it down why it's corrupt, the sport. And watching all that, I pulled the plug on my website. I was like, hey, forget it. I'm done. I'm not making this. This wasn't fun anymore because I got so pissed off buying pay-per-views, all I know about the sport, telling people who's going to win fights and getting it right a lot of the times, the majority on big fights, and knowing what I'm talking about, knowing the sweet science, and all that. The fun was taken right out of it like a hot air balloon once I started reporting on it, kind of, you know what I mean? I had a website and I was making little articles and talking about what's going on. For me, it lost its fun. And then all the corruption, that did it. There was the nail in the coffin. So that's why I stopped uploading for the longest. And then I went on to do other things. But, it is what it is. It's just fun talking to the guys and gals and whoever else and just being here. Maybe. I don't know. All right, guys, I'm out of here. So I'll be back soon, maybe. I don't know. I'll see you next time. Peace.